Look, I have a captain play for you, but you're not going to like it.
I suffer from a debilitating condition known as atrophic chokitis.
Peter's one of the greatest depositors I've ever seen.
Trust the process. Let's go. Let's go.
I got auto matched with Levitan. This is bullshit.
If I just go the other way in that 66, I win all the money. All the money.
If I had 150 lineups, I'd win too.
Process over results.
Illuminati make a bitch go crazy. I don't know which one of these my baby. Bust out AP, close 5 bullets in your head like KD. Bust it, bitch go bust it. And I had 10 pints with me in Russia.
Hey everyone.
GM Showdown builders, GM hand builders, GM Opto Bros. God damn it. I cut myself shaving today, and now I have this like blood that's dried up on my lip, and I'm tilting. Gosh. How are we doing here? I mean, okay, it's really funny you say this because I'm not going to say Lee Smith as a captain. I will say I'm playing in the, the monster $3 20 max, and I have 2 Lee Smith captain lineups. And I'm not, this is the epitome, the dictionary definition of not financial advice. The do as I say, not as I do. If that's a phrase, do not play Lee Smith in captain. But if you are begging your opponents not to dupe you, play Lee Smith in captain. Lee Smith, Spags put Lee Smith in our lineup today on Splash Play, and I laughed at him, and I laugh at Spags a lot. But and now I'm looking at him like, all right, Lee Smith isn't that bad. Let me just be on the record. I prefer Lee Smith as a flex play and not a captain play. But look, if you're trying to galaxy brain off the dupes, you could do worse than Lee Smith as a $300 captain. No Hayden Hurst. What's the narrative? Bill Belichick doubles, your best option. So Kyle Pitts is going to be doubled all night, just opening up lanes for Lee Smith. We're coming off the Deebo Samuel night. Deebo Samuel went well. I am starting to feel a little pressure. Actually, I should pivot that. The Sims should start feeling a little pressure here on these leverage plays. The Deebo one worked out really well. Justin Freeman over at Run The Sims had a tweet tonight that the Sims were bugging out because they didn't know how to handle, 34 mediocre players. It is a really weird slate in that regard. Like, you look on this slate and, Justin was saying in our Discord earlier, who are the guys that can break the slate? Who are the guys that can pull away and really separate? And it's a really weak slate for that. I mean, the 2 best, probably candidates for that would be Kyle Pitts and Damian Harris. You can poke holes in Kyle Pitts in this spot. Again, like, Bill Belichick isn't going to let Kyle Pitts beat him. He's the only dynamic pass catching option they have. So he's going to need insane volume to do that and run really hot in the red zone. And then with Damian Harris, there's a ton of uncertainty around what his role could look like tonight with Ramondre having played so well on Sunday. I would say, the fragility of the inputs on this game feel pretty high based on how you feel about the distributing the rushing workload with the Patriots. I do think this is a good enough spot for the Patriots that both Damian Harris and Ramondre could get there. I'm kind of working under the assumption that, Damian Harris is going to be back getting the work he had before, but to a lesser extent. I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle with Ramondre Stevenson. So it's tough for tonight. It's definitely a night to play out very specific game scenarios because it's going to change, the simulated lineups a good bit based on those scenarios. And we can play around with that in a second. I will just say, all right, Corey wants me to do it. I'll do it. The viewers are going to go down. We have 170 people watching right now. And the second I say this, we're going to dip. We're going sub 100. It is with great shame and pure embarrassment and utter regret and something I will hope is later scrubbed from the internet. I would hate for my unborn children to one day stumble upon a video where I touted Mike Davis as the best captain leverage play on the slate. Don't hate me. Hate the Sims. Hate the Sims. Don't hate me. Don't shoot the messenger. I am here. Nothing but a humble messenger relaying what the Sims say. Every night, Justin Freeman etches in stone the best captain plays, and he brings them down to me. And I come up here and I hold them up for you. And sometimes you don't like them, okay? Don't be mad at me that Mike Davis has an average ownership of around 9% tonight, and he's appearing as our optimal captain in the Sims at a frequency of 16.3%. It's just math. You can't get mad at me. You say, Pete, you did a good job when the math is right. And when the math is wrong, you say, that sucks, Pete. It was the math's fault. That's how this works around here. I'll show you. If you guys don't believe me, I'll show you. We'll run the Sims. We will screen share. Here we go. Here we go. So we have the Pats, of course, as 6.5 point road favorites here, giving them an implied team total of 27. We have the Falcons down here at 20. And now we will run the Sims, and I will show you what I was seeing earlier. This was my long con. It was to say that the Opto Bros and the Sims want you to play Mike Davis, and the hand builders need to IKB it. They need to IKB it, not play Mike Davis. So here we go. We see right at the top, Mac Jones and Mike Davis appearing most frequently in our optimal captain. Mac Jones leading the way at 17.6%. Mac Jones looks like a fairly neutral captain play to me. I'm seeing around 17% ownership in a few spots. So it looks like he is being rostered there about commensurate with what you would expect in the Sims here. Mike Davis, as I said, is our big captain leverage spot. The internal run the Sims ownership here says 3%. I think it'll be higher than that. I think it'll be closer to 8 or 9%, but still a pretty nice captain play at double the frequency there. Kyle Pitts coming in at 11.4%. He also looks like a fairly neutral captain play. I'm seeing around 13 to 14%. I think people are still pretty excited about Kyle Pitts. He has the vibe, the aura of the kind of captains that people generally like to click, associating, captains with high ceiling. Mike Davis is not the captain people like to click. It's not, and it's gross. I mean, we had the Leonard Fournette night a few weeks ago, and this even feels different than Leonard Fournette night, because not only are we talking about a dusty running back, we're talking about a dusty running back in a poor game script. That said, that's also part of the thesis, right? Because who else is going to catch passes? Wayne Gallman only played in garbage time last week. I do think Mike Davis will be the bell cow back. I think you're looking for a Devontae Booker, Darrell Williams-esque night from him, where he catches 5, 6, maybe if you're lucky, 7 balls, and then he wins you the slate if he finds his way into the end zone. I think that's our realistic kind of outlook on Mike Davis tonight. When I look over at the flex ownership, same deal. Mike Davis looks like a great flex play. He's appearing here in 47% of the flex lineups. I'm seeing around 33% flex ownership, which we have around here, around 29%. So also one of the best flex plays. Some other guys here, Lee Smith. I mean, we said it. Lee Smith down here appearing in 12% of our flex optimal lineups. And I think he's going to have an ownership around 2-3%. I don't think anyone's going to play Lee Smith. Jonnu Smith, all the Smiths tonight. Jonnu Smith looks decent. And that one's more intuitive and makes sense to me, coming off of, being inactive last week. And now we get Jonnu here. He's appearing in the Sims 19% of the time in the flex. And I think his ownership will be a little lower, probably in the 9 or 10% range there at 2,400. So he looks good. And then one other name I would mention would be Brandon Bolden, who I'm seeing around 14% ownership. And I do think he'll get lost in the hand builder shuffle a little bit, just because all the conversation, all the discourse is around Ramondre and Damian Harris. And I think people might forget about Brandon Bolden in this spot, appearing in our sims 23.7% of the time. And when there's a lot of fragility with the Patriots running back usage, I mean, this has been an old, axiom for season long, right? Is you just draft the cheapest Pats running back. Well, tonight, the cheapest Pats running back is Brandon Bolden. He's fairly game script immune. He's not my favorite play, but I can definitely tell myself stories of where Brandon Bolden pays off this price tag and is not very popular. It's true. Leone is in Vegas. And he is probably, it is truly brutal that Leone's in Vegas and can't play this DFS slate, but hopefully he's there at some ticket counter right now, just hammering the over on Mike Davis's rushing prop. Let's see here. I mean, you're obsessed with my mole. I came out, I got out in front of it. It's just a classic PR play. You get out in front of it. I acknowledged it at the top so you wouldn't spend the entire show talking about my fucking blood cut on my lip, and now you're still talking about it. God damn it. God damn it. Run the Smiths. That's the new name of the site. We did file that trademark. From now on, we are Run the Smiths. Oh, no. God, Nick's probably right, too. Lee Smith is the Preston Williams play from last week. If you guys weren't around last week, Nick is, of course, referencing Preston Williams being incredibly cheap, ownership across the industry, having him fairly unpopular. And then he got steamed to no end, and he was not sneaky, and he was a play we all regretted. Alonzo Mourning gif. Yeah, probably. Yes, Brandon Bolden is active tonight. JJ Taylor is inactive. I did say on Twitter I thought it would have been hilarious for the bit if Ramondre was inactive. I mean, just an absolute meltdown spot from Twitter, myself included, if Ramondre was inactive. How do the QBs look? Yeah, I mentioned Mac Jones earlier. He looks good. He looks neutral. Matt Ryan here doesn't look that great as a captain play. I think he looks a little bit better as a flex, but not by much. I think Matt Ryan, it looks like, is going to be really popular. I'm seeing about 48% flex ownership. He's appearing in the sims here about 45% of the time. So he looks like a neutral play. The quarterbacks look like neutral plays. Captain Sharp, he's the captain now. I mean, he was looking good earlier in the day. It's fine. I mean, I can't muster any enthusiasm for Tajay Sharp. He's going to carry like 2% captain ownership. He's appearing in our sims at what, 2.8%? Is that what it was at down here? Where is he? Let me find him. 3.5%. So maybe just the slightest bit of leverage there with Tajay Sharp. I'm not stamping off on that tonight. If you want to do it, Godspeed. How am I getting different tonight? I'm just being myself, man. It's really easy to kind of do what the crowd's doing what the herd is, but just trying to stay true to myself. Let's see what some of these custom lineups are. And one thing that immediately stands out, and this was kind of similar to Monday night, where the 49ers were pretty big underdogs in that spot. And you assumed that the 4-2, 5-1 Los Angeles Rams builds were going to be chalky. And then we were running the sims and we were seeing a lot of 4-2 and 5-1 49ers, even when we were running blowout scripts for the Rams. And it's interesting to me. We see our top lineup here is a 4-2 with Mike Davis. Let me expand this so we can check out the product owned here. You see the second lineup here is a more balanced 3-3 Mike Davis, another 3-3 here. Here's a 5-1 in favor of the Patriots. I assume something like this will be a much more popular lineup. Another 5-1 here, Mac Jones bringing it back, Mike Davis. So you see Mike Davis just popping in a ton of these lineups here. I do think if you can get to the Falcons heavy builds, that's where you're going to get unique. So I'm playing the really big $3, $1, 20 maxes that have 150,000 entries in it. And I was, obviously hunting through these lineups with low product owned to make sure people don't dupe me. And I have lots of heavy Falcons builds. That's kind of how I'm playing this slate. And we can mess with a few of the inputs here to see how game scripts can affect this, but that's where I'm leaning right now. Exactly. That's the thesis of the play. The Falcons onslaught will not get duped. Oh, great Lord of the Blood Mole. Good God. Please give me your wisdom. You're asking me? Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me a start sit question. Who is CMC Light? That could be Brandon Bolden or Mike Davis. I'm guessing you're saying Mike Davis. Oh yeah, 90% CMC is Mike Davis. Henry the Great Hunter or Boulder Man. God damn it, Six. You're right. You wrote like a riddle. It's like when I'm answering these start sit questions and someone asks me like 19 different players and they say pick two. I can't. This is like J.R. Tolkien asking me this question. I literally can't decipher this. Mike Davis, dude. We said Mike Davis is the best play. We said Mike Davis is the best play tonight. All right. That's what we're doing. Let's mess around here and check out a few different type of scenarios. So the one scenario that I don't think is that unrealistic is just a really slow pace, low scoring slog. We have 27-20 is like, it's a pretty meaty total for a game with these two teams. The Falcons are totally broken. The Patriots, we see here their rush rate up at 48%. I mean, I could see this game going well under the total here. So let's just see what the Sims look like in this scenario. Let's say it's a 17-14 game. 17-14 game. I'm not going to even adjust maybe we bring the Falcons rush rate up a smidge if it's a really tight game. And Patriots rush rate, I assume, would stay up there at about 50%. And let's see if this changes anything. We can try this next. All right. So in this scenario, we do see the captains smush up a little bit. We still see Mike Davis and Mac Jones as the top two. Jacoby Myers crashes the party in a low scoring game, which is kind of interesting, up at 10%. Kyle Pitts holding strong here at about 11.2%. Interesting. We're not seeing Damian pop quite as much as we would maybe think. What was he in the default? 9.3. So he actually comes down from 9.3 to 8.9 in this one. I don't think a ton of like interesting takeaways if this game plays really low scoring. We're still seeing here's a 4-2 Falcons, 2-4 Falcons right there. Here's another onslaught 5-1 Falcons with Patriots Mike Davis. So I would say in general we're not seeing any super leveraged, build textures. Like I'm not seeing the 4-2s, 5-1s appear. It looks like we're kind of all over the map with the 3-3s, the 4-2s in this range. Let's someone wanted to do the blowout, right? 35-14 blowout. Another outcome that I think sounds fairly reasonable. 35-14. Let's even lower their rush rate down to, we'll do something like 38%. Like if they're getting blown out, not 383%, 38%. And the Pats, like if they're dominating, let's even move them up to like 52%. We'll move their rush TD ratio up a little bit. Rush TD ratio, we'll bring them down a little bit if they're down this big. And let's see here. All right. In this scenario, Mac Jones stays up here at 19.8, and we do finally see the big Damian Harris movement. And so that makes sense to me that Damian Harris really starts to pop here. We see Brandon Bolden start to pop as a flex play. Brandon Bolden goes from, what was he in our baseline sim? He goes from, actually, he doesn't change that much. He goes from 23% up to 24%. So he seems like a pretty neutral play across these different game scripts. I mean, it makes sense that Damian Harris would be the big beneficiary. Although I would expect Ramondre to also benefit a decent amount. we can go check our inputs too here. So we have Damian Harris at 45% market share. We have Ramondre Stevenson at 28% and Brandon Bolden at 11%. And then it's kind of the inverse for the receiving market share, where Brandon Bolden at 10%, Ramondre at 7%, and Damian Harris at 4%. And to me, that all checks out. I think this is fairly safe. I do think you could mess with this. Like if you wanted to IKB it, I think you could easily, give Ramondre more. And I think we actually should do that. And just to see how much more Ramondre pops. So if we were to just split them at like what I just did the math, so it'd be 36.5% each. Let's do that and then what is the 49.3 plus 23.6 divided by 2 would be 36.4. Let's just see how much. And I actually want to go back to the baseline game script, and I just want to see if we give Ramondre and Damian Harris an equal workload here in the rushing game, what that looks like. So in that scenario, wow, it's almost like they both cannibalize each other because Damian Harris really falls off. So, I guess this makes sense, right? If you're on the side that Ramondre is going to get, more work or even equal amount of work, Damian Harris is almost unplayable at, what we expect his ownership to be, around 30%. In this situation where he's splitting directly with Ramondre, he's down here to only appearing 10% of the time. So I would scale or basically have your lineups reflect your confidence level in the Damian Harris versus Ramondre. I'm definitely more in the camp that Ramondre, I think, will, I don't know, gun to my head, Damian Harris 60%, Ramondre 40%. Like that's kind of where I'm at right now. Which makes Damian not look like a good play. Yeah. So it's Mookie says, I think if you're playing both, you need to have Pat's D, and it probably has to be a massive blowout. Let's do that again. Because I do want to see that. If we leave this here and we do the 41-14, and this is what's great about The Sims, because now we can see, all right, how often are these guys appearing in lineups together? How often is the defense coming along for the ride? And we can check that out here in the custom lineups in this blowout script. So right off the bat, we see a New England Patriots here. We see New England Patriots here. Here's a Ramondre pops up. Here's a Ramondre. Not seeing a lot of these guys in the lineup together. A lot of these Patriots running back lineups are one-offs. Brandon Bolden one-off. Brandon Bolden one-off. That's pretty interesting to me. And granted, I tweaked the inputs there on Ramondre to kind of match him, but it is interesting that they're not showing up together even in these blowout scripts. It almost makes me wonder, did I put something in weird? I'm trying to think why this would, it basically just nukes both of them. Like neither of them are showing up in this scenario, even when they score, 40%, 41 points. That's pretty weird. That is weird. But hey, I trust the Sims. I trust them with my life. Ramondre Stevenson. I'm scrolling, guys. I'm trying to find you a double Patriots running back. Intuitively, that made sense to me, right? Like we saw them against the Jets when they scored 51 points and JJ Taylor, Bolden, and Damian Harris had monster days. All right, Justin's helping me out here. Hook up the team rush TD ratio. So yeah, you're right. That makes sense. If they go from 38%, what's a reasonable number, Justin? 46%? 46? Let's try it. And our custom lineups, I don't know. It might just not be happening. The Sims just might not want these Patriots running backs to be in the same lineups together. 50. All right, Justin says 50. We will do 50 here. How about 504? 50? Here, we'll boost their rush rate up to 50. Justin, I'm telling you though, if they don't appear here, I don't know what to tell you. Why did I click over to projections? God damn it. Now this is my user error here. We are all okay. This is my fault. I got a blood mole. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. I'm trying to bully the optimizer, the simulator. All right, let's try this again. My God. 50-50. I'm too lazy to go and adjust the Ramondre thing again. I'm sorry. I'm at my wit's end. All right, custom lineups. Here we go. Lots of Falcons in these builds. No, because I didn't adjust the input. God damn it. I'm off my game. Everyone dereg. Slate's unplayable. Here we go. Okay, we finally got something we like. We did it. Brandon Bolden and Damian Harris in the most frequented lineup. Here you go. All right, we did it. Ramondre and Damian Harris. Look, if you project the Patriots to win 41-14, and you give them a 50% rush rate and a 50% rush TD ratio, you can get double Patriots running backs. I need to take a bow for that. It took a while to get there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. We bullied the DIY simulator into giving us what we wanted. It is a pretty gross slate. Is there anything else you guys want me to mess around with before I sign off? I will take one more request. For a crazy input. Someone want me to give Kendrick Bourne a 49% market share receiving yards? Now's your chance. I can't do this. I can't. You want me to say the Pats score 75 points? Mathology is always talking about the double Ds. This dude wants double defenses in there. All right, so we got that actually would be fun. Should we try a Falcons blowout? They just shocked the world. That could be fun. 31-14. Revenge on the Super. I forgot. This is the 28-3 matchup. We'll bring the Patriots rush rate down. Clicking buttons on a Thursday night. We bring up their rush rate. This is going to make Mike Davis look better than we want him to look. All right, here you go. Here is your Falcons blowout sims. Can we get a showdown tilt space? Maybe, but I mean, for the most part, we're so drained and emotionally exhausted after taking a bath that it's really hard to think about tilting a showdown slate, but that could be fun. All right, there you go. Mike Davis, 25% captain. If you think that the Falcons win 31-14, I highly recommend playing Mike Davis as your captain. Highly recommend it. Full stamp of approval. Look at all these Mike Davis captain lineups. Jacoby Myers sneaks into one of these. It's a Mike Davis and Matt Ryan train. I'm still tilting, Justin, that we have this fucking tilde on Tajay Sharp. You're messing up my CSV exports. I mean, is this even how Google has it? Like, is this a thing? Justin, this isn't a thing. Why do you have it like this? What is this? Tajay Sharp. Is there anyone? Okay, here you go. In the Wikipedia. Do they have it on Wikipedia? Tajay Lamar Sharp. All right. I'll give it to you, Justin. I'll give it to you. I'm not happy about it, but I'll give it to you. Messing up my index matching, all this shit with Tajay's tilde. All right, guys. Actually, should we find an underdog pick'em we like? I need to fire out an underdog pick'em. Let's pick a pick'em. Do you have to put a Falcon in your lineup? You got to put like 4 fucking Falcons in your lineup. I mean, come on. All right. Don't at me if Mike Davis sucks tonight. Just please don't at me. At Justin. All right. Mac Jones, 22.5 completions, 244 passing yards. Damian Harris, 58. Look at this. God, I want to bet this Ramondre over so bad. I think we're just going to bet it. 57.5 total scrimmage yards for Ramondre. Sign me the fuck up. Kendrick Bourne, 3 receptions. All right, we do need to find a Falcon one now. I mean, the Sims love Mike Davis, right? What do we like better? 62.5 total yards from Mike Davis or 41.5 rushing? I don't trust 41.5 rushing yards. We need the passing work to get there. Kyle Pitts, 61.5. Tajay Tilde Sharp, 23.5. What do you guys want? You want the 62.5? Should we just over this? Should we just do this? Just full YOLO, Ramondre, Mike Davis? Why not? Why not? Let's live a little. Let's live a little. Ramondre, Mike Davis. There you go. If you want a tail, links there. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out. I was really excited about this slate, and then we started digging into it, and it feels so gross. Mike Davis is your captain. Don't at me.